The colony ship Bright Tomorrow moved slowly through the dark space between stars. It was a big ship, almost 2 kilometers long, and it carried 3,000 humans to a new world. Most of them were families, young couples with dreams, old people looking for peace, and children, so many children. Was 12 years old. He sat in the observation deck with his younger sister, who was only 8. They watched the stars pass by the large windows. The glass was thick and strong, but the view was clear and beautiful. "How many more days?" asked. She was tired of the ship. She wanted to run on real grass and swim in real water. 42 days, said. He had counted every morning since they left Earth. Then we reach New Sol. Pressed her small hand against the cold glass. I hope there are animals there, real ones, not the robot pets on this ship. Smiled at his sister. She was always dreaming about animals, dogs and cats and horses. Their parents had promised her a real dog when they arrived at the colony. She talked about that dog every single day. Their mother found them there an hour later. She was a doctor on the ship and her face looked tired, but she smiled when she saw her children. "Time for dinner," she said. "Your father is waiting." The family ate together in the small dining area of their quarters. Their father worked as an engineer. He kept the ship's engines running. Tonight, he was quiet. He kept looking at his communication device. "Is something wrong?" asked. Shook his head. Probably nothing. The captain called a meeting for senior crew, something about unusual readings on the long-range sensors. After dinner, helped with her homework. She was learning mathematics, but she did not like numbers. She preferred stories and pictures, was patient with her. He always had been. The alarm came at midnight. It was not the normal alarm for drills. This sound was different, sharper, more urgent. Red lights flashed in the corridors. The ship's computer spoke in a calm voice that did not match the chaos. "All passengers proceed to emergency stations. This is not a drill. All passengers proceed to emergency stations." Grabbed the children from their beds. Was already gone, running to the engine room. The corridors were full of scared people. Children were crying. Parents were shouting. "Stay close to me," said. She held in her arms and pulled by the hand. They never reached the emergency station. The ship shook like a toy in an angry child's hand. The lights went out. Emergency power came on, but it was weak and red. Then the ceiling broke open. Had never seen an alien before. He had only seen pictures in school. They were tall and thin. Their skin was gray like stone. They had 4 arms and 2 legs. Their eyes were black and empty. They moved fast, faster than any human could move. The soldiers grabbed people from the corridor. They did not speak. They did not explain. They just took, screamed and fought when they pulled from her arms, tried to help but it hit him and everything went dark. When woke up, he was in a cell. The walls were made of strange metal that felt warm to the touch. There were no windows, only a small light in the ceiling. He was not alone. Was there crying in the corner, and there were other children, maybe 30 of them, all from the ship, all scared, all alone. Ran to his sister and held her tight. I'm here. "Where are Mom and Dad?" she asked between sobs. "I want Mom, I want to go home." Did not have answers. He looked around the cell at the other children. Some were younger than, some were older than him. A girl named was trying to calm the little ones. A boy named Bin was checking the walls for a way out. There was no way out. Hours passed, or maybe days. There was no way to tell time in the cell. They brought food sometimes. Strange food that tasted like nothing. Water that was too warm. They never spoke to the children. They just watched with those black, empty eyes. On the 3rd day, a different came. This one wore better clothes. He was taller than the soldiers. He looked at the children like a farmer looks at animals. His name was, though the children did not know this yet, he was the commander of the warship Dominion. He had ordered the attack on the colony ship. He had ordered the capture of the children. spoke to his officer in their language. The sounds were harsh and strange. Then he left. Held closer. "We're going to be okay," he whispered. "Someone will come for us. Mom and Dad will find us." But deep inside, he was not sure. He did not know that their parents were still alive on the damaged colony ship. He did not know that a distress signal had reached human space. He did not know that had made the worst mistake of his life. In the Empire, children were not special. They were just small adults. They grew up fast and became useful. The idea of protecting children, of loving them above all else, was strange to they did not understand it. Thought the human children were good hostages. He thought the humans would give him money or technology to get them back. Simple trade, simple business. He was wrong. Did not know about human history. He did not know about the wars humans fought for their children. He did not know about the rage that burned in every human parent when their child was in danger. He did not know that humans had destroyed entire nations, entire civilizations, for their young. He would learn. In the cell, finally fell asleep in his arms. The other children slept too, exhausted from fear and crying, only stayed awake. He watched the door. He waited. "Someone will come," he said to himself. "Someone will come." 1,000 light-years away, on Earth, alarms were ringing in military bases. Communications officers were reading distress signals. Generals were making phone calls. Parents were receiving news that broke their hearts. And in the homes of simple families, in the hearts of ordinary people, something old and terrible was waking up. Something that had built empires and burned cities. Something that every species in the galaxy should have feared. The human rage for their children. Did not know it yet, but he had started something he could not stop. He had touched the one thing that humans would never forgive. He had taken their young. And he would pay for it. The Galactic Council was very old. It had existed for 10,000 years. 100 different species sat in its great hall. They made rules for trade. They solved problems between worlds. They kept peace in the galaxy. Ambassador was human. She had worked at the council for 15 years. She was known for her calm voice and her patient ways. Other species respected her. They said she was wise for a human. They said she was not like the others. Today she was not calm. Walked fast through the halls of the council building. Her assistant, a young man named, ran to keep up with her. Her face was pale. Her hands were shaking. "Ambassador, please slow down," said. "We should prepare before you contact the commander." "There is no time," said. "Every minute matters now." She reached the communication room and sat before the screen. Her fingers moved across the controls. She entered the codes for the warship Dominion. The face of appeared on the screen. He was eating something while he talked. He did not stand up. He did not show respect. He just smiled with his wide, gray mouth. "Ambassador," said, "how nice of you to call. I expected someone more important." "Commander," said. Her voice was steady, but her eyes were not. "I am calling to demand the immediate release of the human children you have captured." Laughed. It was an ugly sound. "Demand? You demand? Little human, you are in no position to demand anything. The children are my property now. If your government wants them back, they will pay my price." Leaned closer to the screen. "Commander, please listen to me carefully. You do not understand what you have done. Return the children now before it is too late." "Too late for what?" asked. He took another bite of his food. "Your species is weak. Your military is small. What can you possibly do to me?" "Everything," whispered. Stopped eating. Something in her voice made him pay attention, but only for a moment. "You are trying to scare me," he said. "It will not work. I have studied humans. You talk big, but you are soft. You care too much about rules and peace. You will not risk a war for 30 small children." Closed her eyes. When she opened them again, they were wet with tears, but they were not tears of sadness. They were tears of fear for his people. Commander, I am going to tell you something. I want you to remember that I tried to warn you. I want you to remember that I gave you a chance. Waved his 4 hands in the air. Speak then, entertain me. Humans are not like other species, began. We seem soft because we choose to be soft. We seem peaceful because we work hard to be peaceful, but that is not our nature. Our nature is something else, something old, something terrible. She paused, was watching her now with more interest. Every species in this galaxy has children, continued. But no species loves their children the way humans do. It is in our blood, in our bones, in the deepest part of our souls. Our children are everything to us, everything. Many species say that, said, it means nothing. For other species, yes. Words. For humans, it is truth. We have fought wars that lasted 100 years over our children. We have burned cities to ash. We have crossed oceans and mountains and deserts. We have done things that still make us ashamed thousands of years later, all for our children. Stood up from her chair. She placed both hands on the console and leaned toward the screen. You have taken 30 human children, 30. Do you know what that means? 30 families are now waking up with murder in their hearts. 30 sets of parents are now thinking of only one thing, getting their children back. And they will not stop. They will never stop. Not until those children are safe. Not until the people who took them are dead. Laughed again, but this time it sounded less certain. You are dramatic. Your government will send diplomats. We will negotiate. I will get what I want. You do not understand, said. Our government does not control this. No one controls this. When human children are in danger, there are no rules. There is no law. There is only fire and blood and death. I have seen it. I have seen humans become monsters for their children. The communication room was silent. Stood in the corner, his face white. He had never seen Ambassador like this. Release the children, said one more time. Do it now. Do it before the news spreads. Do it before the parents organize. Do it before Earth responds. I am begging you for your own life. Stared at her for a long moment. Then he shook his head. I think you are lying, he said. I think this is a trick to make me give up my advantage. Well, it will not work. The children stay with me. Tell your government my price. 10 million credits and full access to human jump drive technology. You will not live to spend a single credit, said. Goodbye, Ambassador. Reach for the controls. Remember this moment, called out. When the end comes for you, remember that I tried to save you. Remember that you chose this. The screen went dark. Sat back in her chair. She covered her face with her hands. Her shoulders shook. Did not know if she was crying or laughing. Ambassador, he asked quietly, what do we do now? Looked up, her eyes were dry now, empty. We do nothing. We get out of the way. The Galactic Council declares neutrality when humans fight. It is the only safe choice. Neutrality, but the children. The children will be rescued, said. That is certain. The only question is how many will die first. Maybe thousands, maybe millions. It depends on how long keeps those children. Felt cold. You really believe that? You believe humans would kill millions for 30 children? Stood and walked toward the door. She stopped and looked back at her assistant. I once saw a human mother lift a crashed vehicle with her bare hands to save her baby. The doctors said it was impossible. Her bones should have broken. Her muscles should have torn. But she did it anyway, because her child was under that vehicle. She opened the door. Now imagine a million mothers like that, armed with starships and weapons, coming for their children, has no idea what he has done, none at all. 2 hours later, the Galactic Council held an emergency meeting. Ambassador spoke for 10 minutes. When she finished, there was silence. Then, one by one, the other ambassadors began to speak. Within a day, every species had pulled their ships from space. Trade routes closed. Embassies emptied. The Empire suddenly found itself alone. Received reports of this. He was confused. Why was everyone running away? Why was the galaxy suddenly treating them like a disease? He sent messages to other commanders. They told him the same thing: stay away from the human children, release them, apologize, do whatever it takes. But was proud, was stubborn, believed he was strong. He would learn the truth soon enough. On Earth, the preparations had already begun. Ships were fueling, soldiers were gathering, and in homes across the planet, ordinary parents were making a choice. They were going to get their children back, no matter what it cost. The news spread across the galaxy like fire through dry grass. On 1,000 worlds, beings of every shape and color watched their screens with growing fear. They had taken human children. Everyone knew what that meant. On the trading station Nexus 7, a merchant named Kelt was packing his things. His shop sold rare metals from the outer rim. He had good customers in space. Not anymore. "You are leaving?" his customer asked. "But we have a contract, you cannot just leave." Kelt did not stop packing. His 6 legs moved quickly, putting items into boxes. "Contract is cancelled. I am going home." "This is ridiculous. The humans are weak. They will negotiate. Nothing will happen." Kelt stopped. He turned all 4 of his eyes toward the, "Do you know the story of the Red Plains?" The shook his head. 50 years ago, my grandfather had a business on Colony 12. Humans lived there too. One day, some criminals took a human child, just one child. The criminals wanted money. They thought they were safe because they had a good hiding place. Kelt's voice became quiet. The parents found them, not the police, not the military, the parents. 3 mothers and 2 fathers. They had no weapons, just farm tools in their bare hands. When the police finally arrived, there was nothing left of those criminals, just blood and pieces. They said nothing. "My grandfather never forgot that," Kelt continued. "He said the look in those parents' eyes was not human. It was something older, something animal. Since that day, every knows, never touch human children. Never, not for any reason." Kelt picked up his last box and walked toward the door. "Leave space," he said over his shoulder, "while you still can." Stories like this were spreading everywhere. Every species had their own tailies, their own warnings. Grandparents told, teachers told students. The message was always the same. On the water world of Delph, the Council of Elders held a meeting. They floated in the warm ocean, their large bodies moving slowly with the currents. "We must declare neutrality," the eldest said. "We must make it clear that we have no part in this." "But they are our allies," another elder said. "We have treaties." "Treaties mean nothing now. Did you see the human news broadcasts? Their military is mobilizing, not just warships, every ship, cargo ships, personal ships, even old museum ships. They are coming. Perhaps we should help them defend themselves." The eldest made a sound of disgust. "Help them? Against humans fighting for their children. We would not survive a week. No, we stay neutral, we stay quiet. We hope the humans forget we were ever friends with the." The vote was not close. Every elder chose neutrality. In the Galactic Council, representatives worked without sleep. They drafted statements. They made announcements. They tried to contact and convince him to release the children. Refused every call. Ambassador watched from her office. She had done everything she could. Now she just waited. Her assistant brought her tea. "Ambassador, I have been reading about human history, the wars, the violence. I did not know." Took the tea but did not drink. "Most species do not know. Humans do not talk about it. They are ashamed of their past. They work so hard to be peaceful now because they know what they really are." "What are they?" Was quiet for a moment. "The most dangerous predators in the galaxy. They do not have claws or poison or natural armor, but they have something worse. They have love. Terrible, burning love for their families. And when that love is threatened, they become something that even they do not understand." On the High Commander was reading reports with growing worry. He was old. He had fought in many wars. He knew when something was wrong. "This is a mistake," he told his advisors. "Has made a terrible mistake. We must fix it before it is too late." "Fix it how?" an advisor asked. "Is a war hero. We cannot simply order him to release his prisoners. Then we send someone to negotiate." The humans have refused all negotiations. They say there is nothing to discuss. They just say 3 words: return the children. Walk to his window. Outside, the city was peaceful. Ships flew between tall buildings. People went about their lives. They did not know what was coming. "How long until the human fleet arrives?" he asked. "At their current speed, 3 days." 3 days, closed his eyes. 3 days to stop a disaster. He turned back to his advisors. "Send every message we can to the approaching fleet. Tell them we will return the children. Tell them act it alone. Tell them we do not want war." And if they do not listen, did not answer, he did not need to, they all knew what would happen. In the cell on the Dominion had lost count of the days. The children had organized themselves to stay strong. The older ones took care of the younger ones. They played simple games to pass the time. They told stories to fight the fear. Had stopped crying. She sat close to and listened to everything he said. She trusted him completely. "Will Mom and Dad really come?" she asked one night. "Yes," said he. Believed it. He had to believe it. "They will come. All the parents will come." The older girl who helped with the little children sat nearby. "My mother always said she would fight lions for me," she said quietly. "I thought it was just something mothers say. Now I understand." Ben, the boy who had checked the walls for escape, looked up. "My father is in the military. He flies a warship. He is probably on his way right now." The children found comfort in these words. Their parents were coming. No matter how far, no matter how dangerous, their parents were coming. They were right. Across the stars, thousands of ships were flying toward space. Military ships with heavy weapons, transport ships carrying soldiers, and smaller ships, personal ships, carrying parents who could not sit at home and wait. Among them was a woman named. She had been on the colony ship when it was attacked. She had survived, and now she was coming for her children, for end. Her husband flew beside her. Their ship was small and old. It had no weapons, but they did not care. They would find their children. They would bring them home. Nothing would stop them. "Almost there," said. His voice was rough from days without sleep. "Check the navigation screen. 3 more hours, then we reach the fleet." "Do you think they will let us join? We are just civilians." Looked at her husband with hard eyes. "They cannot stop us. No one can stop us, not until we have and in our arms again." Nodded, he understood. He felt the same fire burning in his chest. Behind them, more ships followed. Parents from every country on Earth, parents from colonies across human space. They had left their jobs, they had left their homes, they had left everything. Because their children needed them. And nothing in the galaxy could stand in their way. Captain Wu stood on the bridge of the warship Soul's Revenge. He was a tall man with gray hair and tired eyes. He had served in the military for 30 years. He had fought pirates and rebels. He had protected trade routes and colonies. But this mission was different. His daughter was among the captured children. His grandson was among the captured children. This was not a military operation for Captain Wu. This was family. "Sir, we are approaching space," his navigation officer reported. "The fleet is in formation behind us." Wu looked at the main screen. It showed thousands of ships stretching across the darkness of space. Military ships, civilian ships, large and small, fast and slow, the strangest fleet in human history. "How many civilian ships joined us?" Wu asked. "Over 2,000, sir. We tried to send them back, but they refused to leave." Wu nodded slowly. He understood. Those ships carried parents. Parents who could not stay behind. Parents who needed to be there when their children were saved. He could not blame them. He would have done the same thing if he was not already here. "Let them stay in the rear," he ordered. "Keep them safe." "Yes, sir." The fleet moved forward. As they crossed into space, they saw something strange. Nothing. No defense ships, no patrol boats, no weapons pointed at them. They seemed to have pulled back everything. "They are afraid," Wu's first officer, Commander Park, said. "The whole galaxy is afraid." "They should be," Wu replied. His voice was cold. On the planet below, High Commander watched the human fleet appear on his screens. So many ships, more than he had expected, more than he had feared. "Send a message to their commander," he ordered. "Tell them again that we will return the children. Tell them acted without permission." "Sir, Commander is not responding to our calls. His ship is in orbit on the far side of the planet. He still has the children." Felt his heart sink. Was going to get them all killed. That fool, that stubborn, proud fool. "Keep trying," said, "and prepare our ships to not fight. We will not attack the humans. Make sure everyone understands. We do not shoot first. We do not shoot at all if we can help it." His officers looked shocked. "Sir, you want us to just let them through? If we fight them now, we all die. Not just our soldiers, everyone. The humans are not here for war. They are here for their children. If we give them what they want, maybe they will leave. Maybe." The human fleet spread out as it approached the planet. Captain Wu studied his screens carefully. He saw the defense ships holding position, not attacking, not even moving. "They are surrendering," Commander Park said with surprise. "No," Wu corrected. "They are getting out of our way. Smart, very smart." He turned to his communication officer. "Open a channel to the whole fleet." "Channel open, sir." Wu's voice went out to every ship, every soldier, every parent. "This is Captain Wu. We are here for one reason, to bring our children home. The defense forces are standing down. Do not fire unless fired upon. Our only target is the ship Dominion and Commander. Once we have the children, we leave. No revenge, no destruction, just our children. Is that understood?" 1,000 voices answered, "Yes, sir." Wu nodded. "Find the Dominion, all ships move." In her small civilian ship, watched the fleet advance. She could hear Captain Wu's orders. She recognized the name. Captain Wu was grandfather, her husband's father. She had not seen him in years, but she knew he was here for the same reason she was. She said, "Your father is leading the fleet." Said nothing. His relationship with his father was complicated, but right now none of that mattered. Only the children mattered. The Dominion was hiding behind the planet's largest moon. Thought he was safe there. He thought wrong. Human scanner technology was very advanced. Within an hour they had found him. Within 2 hours the fleet had surrounded his ship. Hundreds of warships formed a sphere around the Dominion. Thousands of weapons locked onto its hull. There was no escape. Stared at his screens with disbelief. So many ships. How was this possible? The humans were supposed to be weak. They were supposed to negotiate. They were supposed to be afraid. "Commander," his first officer said, his voice was shaking. "They are hailing us." "Put it on screen." Captain Wu's face appeared. His eyes were hard as stone. His voice was like ice. "Commander, I am Captain Wu of the Human Alliance Fleet. You have 30 human children on your ship. My granddaughter is among them. My grandson is among them." Tried to speak, but Wu continued without pause. "You have one chance. 1. Release the children immediately. Open your cargo bays and let our medical ships board. If any child is harmed, if any child is missing, if any child has so much as a scratch that we do not like, I will personally destroy your ship. Then I will destroy every ship that protects you. Then I will destroy every base on every moon. Then I will go to your and burn it until nothing is left. Do you understand me? Nothing will be left." The bridge of the Dominion was silent. Every officer stared at their commander. They had followed him into many battles. They had trusted him with their lives. But now they saw something in Captain Wu's eyes that made them afraid, a promise, a certainty. This human was not bluffing. Felt something he had never felt before. Real fear, not the small fear of losing a battle, the deep fear of knowing that death was close, that death was coming, that nothing could stop it. "Commander," his first officer whispered, "please, the children." For a long moment did not move. His pride fought against his fear. His stubbornness fought against reality. He had never surrendered, never backed down, never admitted he was wrong. But those eyes, those terrible human eyes, they burned with a fire that could not match, could not face, could not survive. "Open the cargo bays," said. His voice was weak, broken. "Let them take the children." On the bridge of the Soul's Revenge, Captain Wu heard those words. He closed his eyes for 1 second, just 1 second of relief. "Medical ships move in," he ordered. "Get our children." The first ships to board the Dominion were not soldiers. They were doctors and nurses, parents who were trained in medicine. They rushed through the corridors of the ship, following the scanners to where the children were held. They found the cell. They opened the door. 30 children looked up at them with wide, hopeful eyes. "We are here," a nurse said. Tears ran down her face. "We came to take you home." The children ran forward. They cried. They laughed. They hugged anyone they could reach. The nurses picked up the smallest ones and held them tight. Held's hand as they walked out of that terrible cell. He had promised her someone would come, and someone had. Everyone had. When they reached the human ships, saw something that made him stop. Hundreds of parents were waiting, calling names, searching faces, running toward their children with open arms. And there in the crowd, he saw 2 faces he knew, 2 faces he had dreamed about every night in that cell. Mom screamed, "Dad!" Ran forward and grabbed both her children. She fell to her knees and held them so tight it hurt, wrapped his arms around all 3 of them. He was crying. He was laughing. He was saying their names over and over. Nearby, Captain Wu watched. His family was together again, his granddaughter, his grandson, safe. For the first time in days, he smiled. But the mission was not over yet. The children were safe on the medical ships. Doctors checked each one carefully. They treated small injuries. They gave warm food and clean clothes. They let parents hold their children for as long as they needed. But outside, the fleet still surrounded the Dominion. Captain Wu had not given the order to leave. "Sir," Commander Park said carefully, "the children are safe. Should we return home?" Wu did not answer immediately. He was watching the ship on his screen, was still in there, the alien who had taken his family, the creature who had locked his in a cell like animals. "Not yet," Wu said. The fleet waited. On the Dominion, stood alone on his bridge. His officers had stopped looking at him. They were ashamed to serve under him now. The great commander, who had promised them victory and wealth, had brought them to the edge of death. A new message came through, from High Commander on the planet below. Said, his voice was cold and angry. "The Galactic Council is demanding justice. The humans are demanding justice, and I agree with them." "Justice," said, "I'm a commander of the Empire. I cannot be judged by aliens." "You can and you will," paused. "You have 2 choices, come to the planet and face trial, or the humans will take you themselves. I promise you a trial is better." Felt his strength leaving him. Everything was falling apart. His career, his pride, his life. "What kind of trial?" he asked. "The Council will judge you for crimes against peace, for kidnapping, for endangering the entire galaxy. The humans have agreed to accept the Council's punishment." In truth, the humans had agreed to nothing of the sort, but hoped that if surrendered peacefully, the humans would be satisfied. It was a small lie to prevent a bigger disaster. "And if I refuse?" Was silent for a moment, then he said, "Did you look at the human fleet? Did you count their ships? There are more coming, every hour more arrive. They are not just military, They are everyone, teachers, farmers, engineers, grandparents, all coming here because you touched their children. If you refuse to surrender, they will not stop until you are dead. And they will not stop with you. They will destroy everything you ever loved. Looked at his screens, it was true. The human fleet was growing. Even now, new ships were appearing at the edge of the system, more and more. How, he whispered, how can so many come so fast? Because they are humans, said, because you touched their children. Closed his eyes. He had been so confident, so certain that humans were weak, that their love for children was a weakness he could use against them. He had been so wrong. I will surrender, said. The words tasted like poison in his mouth. I will come to the planet for trial. On the Soul's Revenge, Captain Wu received news of surrender. He nodded slowly. Let the Council have him, he said. We have what we came for. Commander Park looked relieved. So we are going home. Yes, Wu stood and walked toward the door. But first I need to see my family. In the medical bay and were resting on soft beds. Their parents sat beside them, never letting go of their hands. When Captain Wu entered, stood up. Father and son looked at each other. They had not spoken in 3 years. Old arguments, old wounds, but now none of that mattered. Thank you, said simply, for coming for them. Wu nodded. They are my family too. He walked to his bed and knelt beside her. The little girl looked up at her grandfather with tired eyes. Grandpa Wu, she said, you brought a lot of ships. Wu smiled. It was a gentle smile that his soldiers had never seen. Yes, little one, I brought every ship I could find. Why? Wu took her small hand in his. Because you and your brother are more important than all the ships in the galaxy, more important than all the stars, more important than anything. Smiled and closed her eyes. She was safe now. She could finally sleep. Across the fleet, similar scenes played out. Parents reunited with children. Families made whole again. Tears and laughter and love. The Galactic Council observers watched everything. They recorded images and sounds. They wrote reports for their governments. And they all said the same thing. Never touch human children. One observer, an older being named from the planet, spoke to Ambassador as the fleet prepared to leave. I have studied many species, said. I have seen wars and conflicts and terrible things, but I have never seen anything like this. Like what? Asked. This unity, this purpose. Thousands of beings from different places with different lives all coming together for one reason, for children who are not even their own. I saw teachers leave their schools, doctors leave their hospitals, old people leave their retirement homes, all to come here, to rescue children they had never met. Smiled sadly. That is what we are, what we have always been. We protect our young, all of them, not just our own children, all human children. It is in our blood, in our souls. Was quiet for a moment. Then he said, my government wants to improve relations with humanity. What should I tell them? Thought about it. Tell them to be our friends, trade with us, work with us, learn from us, but warn them very clearly. Warn them of what? Never touch our children. Eyes were hard. Not in war, not in crime, not by accident, not for any reason. Because if they do, nothing in the galaxy will save them from what comes next. What happened to his mercy? Mercy because surrendered quickly, if he had waited even one more day. She did not finish the sentence. She did not need to. Nodded slowly. I will tell them. I will make sure everyone knows. As the human fleet began its journey home, the Empire was quiet, was taken to the Council for trial. He would spend the rest of his life in prison on a distant moon, alone and forgotten. High Commander sent a formal apology to Earth. He promised it would never happen again. He meant it. The had learned their lesson. And across the galaxy, the story spread. It became a legend, a warning. The tale of the foolish commander who took human children and brought an entire species down on his head. Teachers taught it in schools. Parents told it to their young. It became the most important rule in galactic society. Never touch human children. On the ship carrying and home, the two siblings sat together by a window. They watched the stars pass by, different stars than before, friendlier stars, stars that led to home. Said, "Do you think aliens will ever take children again?" Shook his head. "No, I do not think so. I think they learned." What did they learn? Put his arm around his sister. He remembered the fear in the cell, the darkness, the cold, but he also remembered the moment when the door opened, when the nurses came, when he saw his parents running toward him. They learned what we are, said. They learned that humans will do anything for their children, anything at all, cross galaxies, fight armies, break everything in their way. Leaned against her brother. That is because they love us. Yes, said, that is because they love us. Outside the window, the stars continued to pass. Somewhere ahead was Earth, was home, was a future where would finally get her dog and would finally walk on real grass, and their parents would never let them out of their sight again. Behind them, the galaxy remembered. And no one ever touched human children again.